Welcome back. Let's just dive right into this, shall we? Today, we're unpacking a brilliant visual explainer of Gary Chapman's absolute classic, The Five Love Languages. You know, drawing from over 40 years of marriage counseling experience, Chapman realized something incredibly profound about how we connect as humans. So, if you've been searching for a direct, structured way to fix your love life, or honestly, if you just want to level up your relationship fluency, this explainer is absolutely the ultimate tool for the job.
I mean, think about it. Have you ever tried to have a real deep conversation with someone who literally doesn't speak your language? How'd that go? Probably not too great, right? Miscommunication happens in an instant. But what's truly fascinating is that this concept doesn't just apply to spoken languages like French or Spanish. No, it applies to the most important language of all, the language of affection. Psychologists have found that being loved is a fundamentally essential human need. And when we try to communicate that love using the wrong emotional language, well, we completely miss the mark.
So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we've got the love tank theory, followed by affirmation and quality time, gifts and acts of service, physical touch, and finally, finding your dominant language.
All right, starting with part 1, the love tank theory.
Let's talk about the core metaphor that drives everything Chapman teaches. The love tank refers to the exact level of security you feel in your relationship. Think of it like this. Just like a car absolutely needs fuel to run, human beings need emotional nurture. Your tank is full when your partner is actively meeting your specific emotional needs, making you feel entirely secure. But on the flip side, that tank empties out when your emotional demands are neglected. And without that emotional fuel, we become incredibly vulnerable to all sorts of relationship challenges.
When you've got a full love tank, your partner feels loved, they feel secure, and they are so much more ready to return that affection. But conversely, a relationship running on fumes, that is just a disaster waiting to happen. So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. If you find yourselves constantly bickering and fighting over every little thing, well, that's often not the actual problem. It's usually just a symptom, a flashing warning light indicating an empty love tank.
So how do we actually fill that tank back up? Let's move into part 2, affirmation and quality time.
Love language number 1 is words of affirmation. And listen, this isn't just about keeping loving thoughts about your partner in your head. You have to blatantly tell them. You've got to speak those compliments out loud. But here is the real secret sauce. Truly appreciating your partner means you must see things from their perspective. You have to consider what's important to them, not just what matters to you. That's the ultimate way to genuinely encourage someone and show them you've got their back. Plus, there's a fantastic bonus here. When people receive praise, they almost always admire you back in their own words. It's a win-win.
Moving on to language number 2, quality time. You know, it's a huge misconception that this means you have to go on expensive, fancy dates all the time. Honestly, a cozy evening on the couch absolutely counts, provided it meets 3 strict ingredients. First, one of you has to genuinely wish to do the activity. Second, the other person has to be willingly engaged in it. And third, both of you must be fully aware that the sole purpose of this activity is to show love to each other.
But remember, true quality time means giving your partner your completely undivided attention. Just being physically in the same room, that's not going to cut it. It requires maintaining real eye contact to show you're actually listening, and absolutely no second activities. Yes, that means no quickly checking emails during movie night. You also need to observe their body language to sense how they're truly feeling. And finally, whatever you do not interrupt. Just let them express their emotions completely before you jump in.
All right, let's see how this builds into part 3, gifts and acts of service.
Language number 3 is receiving gifts. Now, I want to clear something up right out of the gate, because this language gets incredibly misunderstood. This is not about materialism. Let me repeat that. The price tag of the gift is completely irrelevant. This language is purely about meaningful thoughtfulness. People across all cultures use gifts. And for someone with this as their primary language, a well-thought-out present simply proves that you remembered them, you considered what they wished for, and you truly care. It's literally the thought that counts, not the receipt.
Then we have language number 4, acts of service. This is for the partner who feels most loved when you step up and give them a hand with everyday tasks, whether that's tackling chores or helping out with a frustrating work issue. I absolutely love this blunt quote from the source material. If you still believe your wife should take on all the house chores, jump back to the previous century and stay there. Speaking this language requires tossing those outdated 20th century gender roles right out the window. You both live in the home, so you both put in the effort. Taking the time to assist shows you're putting their needs above everything else.
Moving right along to part 4, the power of physical touch.
People who speak this 5th language feel loved through physical displays of affection, holding hands, cuddling, hugging. And what's super fascinating here is the sheer biology behind it. Unlike our other senses, our touch receptors aren't just limited to one tiny area. We have these tiny tactile receptors literally all over our bodies. When they get stimulated, those nerves send impulses straight to the brain, producing instant feelings of pleasure. And the best part? It takes almost zero effort. A quick pat on the shoulder in the kitchen, resting your hand on their leg on the couch, or just standing up from your desk for a 30-second hug. It's such a ridiculously small effort, but biologically and emotionally, it means the absolute world to your partner.
Okay, so we've covered all 5. But how do you actually figure out which one triggers your own happy hormones the most? Let's jump into part 5, finding your dominant language.
I want you to stop and ask yourself right now, what particular thing do you constantly find yourself asking for from your partner? Seriously, think about it. This scenario likely plays out over and over again in your relationship simply because that specific thing is what gives you emotional satisfaction. So if you're always asking them to please put their phone down, you're probably a quality time person. Or if you're constantly asking for an extra hand around the house, acts of service is definitely your language.
Here is another great diagnostic trick. You can actually reverse engineer your love language by looking at what hurts. Which instances of neglect sting you the absolute most? For example, if they completely forgot to bring you a gift on a special anniversary and you were just devastated. Or maybe they didn't help you carry in the heavy groceries when you were visibly struggling and it sparked a massive fight. Whatever causes the most pain when it's missing, that is a giant, flashing neon arrow pointing straight to your primary love language.
Finally, take a quick look backwards. How did your parents make you feel loved during your childhood? What was the standard way affection was shown in your family growing up? The way we receive emotional nurture in our formative years actually has a massive impact on our love lives today. Your upbringing essentially sets the baseline for the exact emotional language you naturally speak and expect to hear as an adult.
So the fundamental truth that every couple needs to understand and apply is incredibly simple. Fluency first. If you don't speak your partner's primary love language, they simply aren't going to feel loved even if you are perfectly speaking the other 4. I mean, if their language is quality time, no expensive gift in the world is going to replace your undivided presence. You absolutely must learn their primary language and speak it fluently first. Only then can you start sprinkling in the other 4 languages. Once you do that, they act exactly like icing on the cake.
Which brings us to a final, pretty crucial question to wrap up this explainer. Look at your own relationship right now. Honestly, is your partner's love tank running on empty? And if so, are you finally ready to step up, put the real effort in, and learn to speak their true language? Understanding these 5 frameworks from Gary Chapman is honestly the ultimate way to revitalize your relationship, grow closer together, and just avoid so much unnecessary pain. So take a few minutes today to diagnose your own language, ask your partner about theirs, and start filling those tanks back up. Keep learning, keep focusing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.